Hello everybody! We're here at RemoteCon with yet another very interesting product demo on remote work tools. Here with us now we have Functionfox, a timesheet and project management software for creative professionals. Functionfox helps you keep multiple projects on track, on time and on budget, so you can spend more time focusing on the creative work that you love. The company is dedicated to providing simple, secure, web-based tools in order to help creative teams around the world to improve productivity and profitability. Everyone on their team is focused on helping them achieve these business goals. It was founded in 2000 in British Columbia, Canada, and they're more than just a software provider. Functionfox is committed to being a valuable extension to your business, and they will help you get set up to manage your business better in 30 days or money back guaranteed. They are designed mostly for marketing, designs, creatives, and freelancers, but even students and teachers and in-house teams can benefit from the tool. For our demo here today, we have Andrew Flaro, Senior Account Manager at Functionfox. Hello, Andrew. Nice to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
So, how did you come up with the product? What's the specific need you are trying to solve here with the project management software?
So back in 2000, there was a studio here in Victoria called Suburbia Studios that was struggling to find a simple time tracking tool to help them with tracking things like billable hours, project budgets, and the like. They ended up coming up with an idea of creating something themselves, which at the time was called the Timesheet. And after a little while, they kind of got the idea of, hey, this is actually a product that we could sell. It seems to be an area that's missing for a lot of businesses. A lot of teams are using something you have to, say, install on a computer rather than web-based as we know today. So they started to implement and say, hey, is this something that you would be interested in? And from there, it kind of started to take off. So starting from 2000, where we were just a time tracking software designed for creatives, we've now moved into the project management, project scheduling side as well, and just allowing teams, again, to make sure they keep things as organized as possible. So they're focused on the projects and the creative work they're doing, less so on the administrative tasks, which can kind of slow things down.
Can you actually walk us a bit through the platform and show us how it works?
Yeah, absolutely here. So as you can see with the Functionfox, really, again, the goal is to keep things as simple as possible, but allow you to get a lot of information based on the data you're putting in. One of the things that we focus on, and a lot of softwares do this, is the time tracking side, being able to track things like billable hours, put a project budget together and be able to track against that. Track things like retainers as well. If maybe you're a PR company, you've got an agreement with an existing client. So really easily being able to find the client that you're doing the work for, selecting what project you're doing at the time and what task category that kind of falls into, and just being able to really quickly plug in hours, or in other cases, maybe even start a timer while you're on a phone with the client, for instance, and be able to track that right down to the second for the whatever project that you're kind of working on. We also have the capability of being able to schedule out work, as I've mentioned before, and create to-do lists for everybody on your team. So one of the issues, obviously, with today is teams are having to work remotely, and you don't necessarily have that collaboration you would normally have if you're in an office environment. A little bit harder to know, okay, who's responsible for what's the status of this thing that this person's working on. And the idea of the to-do list is try to eliminate some of the confusion or uncertainty around that by being able to see as a manager, hey, how far along is this person done? How many hours have they put into something that I have assigned them? What's the status of that? Have they even touched it yet? And be able to mark things as complete when they're done. It's like this, for instance, and being able to have the project manager of that project get a notification, say, hey, this has been completed. We can move on to the next thing. With remote work, again, you used to be able to just turn over your shoulder and say, hey, can you get this done? Not necessarily the case as much anymore, and we don't know how long that's going to be for. And truthfully, a lot of teams might stay remote after this as well, and it's always something to keep in mind. With that too, it's important to also have some visual aspects to a software. Make sure that you can actually see a timeline and talk about it. And part of it, again, is you could have this meeting in the office and discuss, hey, here's the timeline that we're on. Again, capability of that's kind of gone. So being able for everybody to get an idea of, okay, here's the things that need to get done over this period of time for a project. Here's where we have things complete, what's upcoming, what's still to do, and being able to see that visually. So that way, if you're going to make changes to a schedule, maybe something comes up where the client is really slow with getting an approval done, you have that capability as well. If you're looking for another view, you have the project calendar as well, which is another feature that I really like, is just being able to see the dates specifically of, hey, what's going on this week? What's going on next week? What's going on for the month of June, month of July? And even being able to filter that down, so you're almost looking at, I just want to know what this one client, what work are we doing? What are we responsible for them this week? Or what's been assigned to this one person? Again, maybe a slightly different view than the to-do list, but being able to give them that sort of information. Another thing is, okay, how many projects do we actually have going on at one time? A lot of people, if you're using Excel, it's kind of hard to filter down and, okay, I want to look at just this client and all the information for that. And the project status page is something very simple and really easy to find that information because it holds all the projects that you've done. So if I need to take a look at this website redesign for Acme, for instance, I can just click on the title and find all the information that I would have inputted at the start of the project to be able to see, okay, here's what's going on. Do I need to change anything here? Maybe we need to push a date back out by another week, for instance. Being able to edit things really, really easily, either from in here or even from this page here. So I can change the status, for instance, to, hey, this is on hold for the time being. Another key part of this as well is being able to archive these projects. So keeping the data that you have associated with them, but having them not clog a system. Something with an Excel spreadsheet is that list can get very, very long over a period of time. So you still have that data, but it makes it, again, a little bit harder to filter through to find the information that you're looking for. And really, in the end, the goal of the software is to give you data that you can use, whether it's for the billing side, whether it's for internal reasons, resourcing, the like, being able to actually get an idea of, okay, how much time has actually been spent on a project? What do we need to bill for? Where are we at on a project budget at any given time? Are there expenses that we didn't necessarily consider that we need to take a look at? Do we need to mark those up? Being able to take the data that you're inputting and get the most out of it so that way you can obviously invoice for it, but make your team better and just understand, okay, are we actually being as efficient as a team as we can be? Are we losing money in places we shouldn't be? Is our time tracking actually accurate? Now, truthfully, that's kind of the basics of Functionfox. There's a whole lot more depth to it than that. But really, that's the key components of our software that allow teams to stay as efficient as possible, stay on track, but not having something that's necessarily complicated or overbearing that makes them feel like they're being micromanaged.
So basically, what you're aiming for here is simplicity of use of the tool. Is there any other differentiator that will set you apart from other project management tools?
One thing that's nice with us, and we talk about it constantly, is service as a team, as Functionfox. So all of our service is done in-house. So you're either talking to a member of our service team, you get an onboarder when you get a new Functionfox account that kind of works directly with you and helping get set up. And all of that is included in the pricing. So a lot of the bigger softwares out there, again, they're going to be a little bit more robust than us, but you're also going to end up having to pay for the cost of service, training, and the like. We eliminate that to be able to say, hey, if you need help, as long as we're open, you can give us a call. We're usually very, very quick at getting the calls as well as emails. I think we have something like a 30-minute response time to emails, which sometimes is unheard of in some areas. But we genuinely care about helping the people that we work with, and we try not to be robotic about it. You can say it's part of being Canadian is we're here to help.
That's a very nice approach. Would you say that, or for example, in the past few months, have you seen a different approach or a different behavior of your clients in using the platform? Or are there any other features that they may be requesting? Or
what's been interesting to see is we initially thought there was going to be, for instance, less timesheet entries in the software, and that didn't end up not necessarily being the case. We actually saw more. I mean, people thought, okay, with people being laid off and the like, usage of the software may drop, and it's kind of been the opposite. And the really cool change that I've seen is teams that were really adamant about not having a system going, oh, we need something. A lot of teams, especially if they have a system where it works in the office, but they can't access that system anymore because they're not in the office, they've had to make that change and go, okay, we need something cloud-based that we can kind of access from everywhere, because this has just been such a big change. So there has been a shift, even in the creative industry, of, okay, cloud-based software is actually needed. Sharing an Excel sheet between 10 people just isn't going to work anymore because it's just not up to date or providing the right data that we need.
I've seen on your website you're working with quite large corporations and multinationals. What is the client base you're targeting, and what's your, let's say, average client?
So for us, we're really focused on the creative and marketing industry. It's kind of the niche that we fit into. And we found that, hey, there wasn't really a lot for them out there at the time. What's been interesting is being a project management platform is you're going to find other businesses that can find a way to make use of you. So I've had architects, engineers, law firms, and a few others that have used us just because our software fits the same process that they do really, really well. That's not always the case. There's sometimes going to be better software options out there. But for us, it's those smaller teams, 1 to 10, that we're kind of focused on. And a lot of our client base located in the U.S., good chunk in Canada, but we do have quite a few clients from the rest of the world as well, which is always interesting. It's nice to get a world perspective from other areas about how they do things and how it differs culturally as well.
Getting a perspective on things, how do you think this remote work environment will evolve, and what role do you see your company having in it?
I think the way it's going to evolve is you're going to find a lot more people working from home now regularly. And I actually think my hope is it helps with the work-life balance more than anything else. I think that's a big part of it. Now, you are hearing some stories of people working more hours because they're at home and they have access to their work 24/7. But the idea is it's kind of nice. You get more family time. It's just a little bit easier on the body, and it's not necessarily for everyone. So I think what's going to happen is you're going to have businesses now that were used to be totally against remote work now saying you can do a mix, which I know for me actually works really well. I'd rather do a mix. I'm not necessarily a full work from home body, but having that 2 to 3 days a week where I can kind of wake up and be like, you know what, I'm just going to do my job from home today. It takes a bit of a load off the shoulders, and I think that's going to be the biggest change we're going to see. But I think the big key is we're not going to see that until things start to get back to normal. Okay, what actually do companies decide to do at that point?
And do you see Functionfox continuing with this project on it? Okay. And do you see Functionfox sorry. At least it's a good laugh. And do you see Functionfox continuing with this, with the developing tools for project management, or going into maybe some other fields or departments?
I think the focus for us right now is still the project management side. There's still some features that I think we'd like to add to the software that will be beneficial down the road, like things like the Gantt chart that we recently added in December was a very highly requested feature for a long time. So I think that's still the focus, and for us it's, again, finding ways and what is going to benefit most of our client base. We don't want to necessarily throw a feature in there just for one client because it's something that they want. We want something that majority of our clients would find some use in. So that's the biggest key. And we do keep track of what's requested. So being able to see, okay, this is really requested, Gantt charts as an example, maybe we need to look deeper at this and see how much of our client base will it help, and does it make sense for us to spend resources on.
Thank you very much, Andrew, for being with us. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Time management and project management are one of the biggest challenges that people face nowadays with the remote work transitioning. Functionfox promises to solve that problem for us, so give it a try. Find out more information about it on the RemoteCon website and join in the conference for more on remote work tools. Thank you.